The Yamaha P145 has newly arrived on the scene. It is the best-selling digital piano in the USD $500 to $600 range, and we're putting it up today against the Roland FP-10, which is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, entrants still left in this category. It launched late in 2019. So the question is, what's the right fit for you, and does the new truly outdo the old? The FP10 is equipped with 96 notes worth of polyphony. That is being outputted through speakers that are 12 watts in total, 6 watts per side. Those are downward facing speakers. The tone engine is the Supernatural engine, not the most current version because this is not running on the BMC chip, but one version previous. It has 15 voices on board, but if you're using it in conjunction with the Roland Piano app, that goes up to 34. And it also has Bluetooth MIDI, which allows you to connect obviously Bluetooth enabled mobile devices as well as wirelessly with the app. Now, to me, the centerpiece of the FP10 has always been the inclusion of the PHA-4 action. Why do I think this is a big deal? Well, first of all, it is a pro level action. They put this in a wide variety of models that are currently out. I think the weighting is really well done. You're right in the mid 50 gram range to get the keys in motion in the center of the range. It is a triple sensor action. It also has escapement simulation, and it's got really nice textures on both the black and white keys. Even though this is a 2019 release, this is using the most current version of the PHA action, which means a couple of things. For one, it's got the improved greasing approach that they changed about a year and a half ago, which included both how it was being applied at the factory as well as the type of grease, so that the key is staying nice and lubricated and click-free even if the instrument is being stored on its side. The second thing is there was some point of confusion that maybe this was just a renamed version of their Ivory Feel G action, which is also not true. Roland is actually still making instruments with the Ivory Feel G action on it. The one that comes to mind right away is the Juno DS88. So not the same action. Given the fact that this is at such an accessible price point, to get an action which doesn't have a hyper compacted pivot length and includes things like the triple sensor escapement has always been a really big plus to me. Now, the Yamaha clocks in at 64 notes worth of polyphony. It's got 10 onboard sounds, and those sounds are coming through two speakers that, rather than being downward facing, are actually ported out the back, and that's coming in at 14 watts versus the 12 watts on the Roland. In terms of the tone generator on there, this is using the CF3S sample set versus the CFX that some of the higher level Yamahas use. And the architecture of that tone generator is definitely a little more simplified than what you get on the Supernatural. This has one resonance engine, whereas there are 4 resonance engines operating on the FP10. Now, out of the box, this does not include any Bluetooth MIDI, but you can purchase an adapter similar to what Casio started with their PSX series maybe 3 or 4 years ago, that'll give you that wireless connection to the Yamaha app. This is a compacted action, so what Yamaha has done with this is similar to what they've done on their update to the 125, the 225, and in a lot of ways similar to what Casio tried with their new PXS series that they released, where they really shortened the pivot length and increased the weighting to achieve the same sort of static and as close as they could to a dynamic resistance. Now, the con to this is the same thing that Casio got tons of flack for, even though I thought that was like completely unjustified, which is if you are playing really advanced music, which often will have your hands much further up into the keys, the shorter the pivot length, the greater the differential in resistance you're going to hit between the front of the key to the back of the key, which, compared to an acoustic piano playing experience, is quite unnatural. But here's the thing. How many super advanced people are really going to be spending a lot of time on a P145? Probably not very many. Now, they've also stuck with a shiny white key top as well as a slightly matte black key. Now, I'm going to go back and give you a quick playthrough of the sounds that are available on the FP10, then we'll do the same thing on the Yamaha, and then finally we're going to get to my take on the key differences and takeaways from these two pianos. Now, both these instruments have the ability to combine up to 2 sounds together, and they also have some basics such as an onboard metronome. So here are my thoughts on these two instruments. I still think that there are a lot of points in which the Roland comes out on top over the Yamaha. However, there is definitely 2 areas in which the Yamaha has dramatically improved over the P45. The top of that has to be how they have reconfigured and repowered the speaker. 14 watts aside, this definitely puts out more sound, and I would say a more balanced sound into the room than the FP10 does. The other thing that they've done with these speakers is they've put some sound ports in the top, directly over top of where the back driver is. So you're actually getting sort of some secondary tone off the back of the cone and some highs. And it's almost simulating what it would be like to have a very, very small tweeter there. So when it comes to just sheer volume, as well as how detailed the tone is, the Yamaha is really a clear winner here. Now, having said that, I happen to think that the Roland piano tone itself is a lot more complex, it's a lot more dynamic, and when you're listening through headphones, the speaker benefits that the Yamaha brings really become a fairly moot point. But where I get tripped up a little bit is just the feel of the key when you start moving into some more challenging repertoire. And that's where I have to remind myself, I am not the target audience for this product. I do find that that resistance differential, once I get about halfway in the key, does leave me feeling like the action is just a little bit spongy, but I just don't think that most people are probably going to notice and or care about that. As for price, the Roland rolls in at $599 US or $849 in Canada. And in terms of weight, comes in right around the 30-pound mark. As for price on the Yamaha, this is available right at the 500 USD mark, or in Canada, comes in at $799. In terms of weight, Yamaha has managed to bring this in under the 25-pound mark, making this really one of the lightest ones on the market. So thanks, as always, for joining us for today's comparison video. If you liked what you saw, please consider hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Maybe give it a like or a share. It really helps us out here at the channel. My name's Stu Harrison. This has been Merriam Pianos on YouTube, and we'll see you again soon.